Phew. Alright guys, we made it to the last step. Decide on next steps. This is actually the easiest step that is usually forgotten, which I always find very ironic, because if it's the easiest, you would think you would just do it. But isn't that life? We've talked about, let's see how forceful your wind can be. We've observed, we've gathered some data, we've seen the impact, and then we've named the change we are looking for. Now we gotta decide, how are we going to move forward? Sounds simple, but let's boil it down a little bit, why don't we? You're looking for collaborative solutions. How are those different from other types of solutions? Well, what is collaboration but two different minds coming together to co-create? Whatever that may be, could be otherwise cross-functional, cross-expertise, maybe even just sharing over a meal, a drink, coffee. Collaboration takes many different modes. But in this type of situation, what you're attempting to do is not only have a solution, but invite them in to a conversation around what can we do going forward? Because if you can stay curious and allow your mind to be open, then you can actually come up with a solution that leaves everyone happy, the collaboration piece. So how do you get there? Through an open-ended request. Do you know what that is? If you don't worry, because I'll explain it to you and you'll have some time to practice it as well. What is a request? It's usually a question, maybe something that you want from the other side. It's most likely verbal, can be written. Obviously, there can even be nonverbal requests, such as when someone closes their hands and kind of gives you that look to come here. An open-ended request, however, is something that invites further conversation. It's a question that has a curious mindset to it. What do you think about this? How do you think we should go forward? What in your ideal situation would be the best solution here? All of these don't ask yes or no, but invite the person who is receiving the feedback or who is hearing that question to otherwise brainstorm. Come up with something new. Be innovative, whatever that may be. But open-ended requests are very powerful because not only you as the sender are making that request, but the receiver then has the opportunity to dialogue with you, which is the entire point of the W.I.N.D model of feedback. What you do want to do, however, is ask for a commitment regarding how to proceed and/or how to prevent future incidences. It's no use giving feedback to someone if the next day they just go off and do the same thing. So what you're attempting to do, at least through your open-ended request and stimulating that type of dialogue space, is making sure that future incidences are either minimized or eliminated altogether so that that same thing doesn't happen. Wouldn't that be great? I know it would be. So how do we do this? Create a buy-in statement. So you loop in the impact as well as the naming, and you get this. When you insert observation, it impacts this. You should be more blank, as well as do you think you should, or do you think? They insert the request component. So let's see what that looks like actually. Here's an example. When you don't respond to my emails in a timely fashion, it frustrates me because I then can't do my job. You should at the very least tell me if something is no longer important. Think you can do that going forward? This one's a little difficult because the individual on the other side may become defensive. In this example, what can you see that might actually be troublesome? I'll give you a second. If you haven't clued in, it's actually the request. Think you can do that going forward? It's more of a yes or no type of request. It doesn't invite the person to otherwise maybe talk a little bit more, but it, as I said, puts them on a defensive. So when you're doing this, a better reframe of this type of statement would be, what's going on here? Is there something I should know? Curiosity wins in this type of scenario. and it helps stimulate further conversation. When you're doing these type of statements or these type of requests, remember, the key is the mindset you bring to it. Because if you don't have the right mindset, the other side will know. And trust me, those type of unconscious energetics behind things are things that people, while knowing it or not, are finally in tune with it.